And just days after the TV news network Iran International said it was closing its London offices because of threats to its journalists, the Iranian Foreign Ministry says it reserves the right to legally pursue the United States for hosting the channel in Washington. The Foreign Ministry spokesman Nasser Kanani calling the channel terrorist, violent, promoting media outlet. Well, for more on that, we're joined by Kaveh Shahrooz. He's a lawyer and senior fellow at the Macdonald-Laurier Institute. Great to see you, Kaveh. Let's start with the case then of the German national, Jamshid Sharmat. His supporters and his daughter say he was actually kidnapped abroad. It seems the regime would go to extraordinary lengths to get hold of this man.
Absolutely. It's good to be with you, Laura. Absolutely, the regime will go to extraordinary lengths. This is not the first time that Iran has reached into other countries' territory. It has assassinated dissidents abroad. It is well known that it was attempting to kidnap a famous Iranian activist from the United States recently. And the case of Mr. Shahmat is just an example of that. He was captured in Dubai, kidnapped, taken to Iran, afforded no due process, and now awaits execution. This is just another example of the Iranian regime's thuggery and its refusal to follow the basic norms of international law.
And yet the European Union is still not willing to list the IRGC as a terrorist organization. Do you think this might encourage them?
I would hope that this gives them the political will to do so. Now, the message that we've been receiving from Mr. Joseph Borrell, the high-ranking official from the EU who deals with foreign policy, is that there's a legal obstacle. There has to be a court determination that allows the EU to go ahead with the listing. But I think, frankly, there's an absence of political will on the part of the EU. And one more act of brutality by the Iranian regime, in this case directed at a German citizen, hopefully will give them the political push that they need to proceed with this policy change.
When it comes to the Iran International TV network case, do you think that in some ways this is a victory for the regime because they did manage to intimidate the channel into closing their London offices?
If it's a victory, it's a Pyrrhic victory. Sure, they've been successful at the moment in intimidating a television station, but I think what it does is it bolsters the story that a lot of activists have been telling, that Iran's regime is brutal, and it doesn't respect international borders. So it's done this with Iran International. It's kidnapped dissidents. People allied with it have stabbed Salman Rushdie. Basically, the Iranian regime's brutality reaches out into every country, every region of the world. And so even if Iran is celebrating today what is done to Iran International, all it's done is it's reinforced the message to Western politicians that Iran is a problem in their countries, not just inside Iranian borders.
Do you think that it sends a message to Iranian dissidents that they should think twice before speaking out?
Unfortunately, Iranian dissidents have long known that. The regime has a 40-year history of attacking dissidents outside its own borders, and so this is one further indication that this regime will carry out brutality anywhere. It further scares dissidents, but I think most dissidents are already aware of this capability for evil that Iran's regime has.